Hold on real quick, Trey. So we're kind of like all over the place right now. Mel, what do you think about like, I mean, you grew up in Harford County, though you're not here right now, and you've seen like everything that's been kind of like going on. Uh, how do you feel about? Because I mean, also like, what is going on even in like your city? Because you're out there in Florida right now. I know like it's kind of crazy with like the coronavirus and everything like that, but what's been going on out there for you?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of just been on edge lately. And I had a talk with my friend yesterday because he's like, so do you know when we're going back to school? I was like, I don't care anymore. I'm just kind of content with being online. And he was like, why? I didn't give him an answer, but low key, I was like, because you think that during this quarantine people would, be learning a new skill, like maybe learn how to cook properly with seasoning or learn how to dance with rhythm. But no,
Gee.
people are showing their privilege.
Mm.
And I'm not racist. I have one black friend who accepts me. And it's just like, y'all are really showing yourselves. And I am okay with spending the rest of my time at school being online. So that way I don't have to be in the same room as you, and just know deep down inside, you'll see me as just a token for you. And it is sad to think about it like that, but it is the truth. And I feel like I can't talk about it with people. Like, I remember there was this protest that happened, and these two girls that were in my class, I know exactly who they are, and they were there for like 5 minutes just to take selfies, and then left after 5 minutes. Just and it was like,
Oh, hold on, real quick. And just to say that, trust me, when I say that pisses me off, Annika hates that crap. Trey hates that crap. Josh himself, I barely saw him pull his phone out when we were getting baptized by the ice bucket challenge on that Friday when we got rained out. Yo, if I see more phones and posters, don't come out. That's
yeah.
it.
And side note, Joshua had to finish his homework, so that's why you haven't heard from
No,
him.
that's fine. You
Yeah,
good.
he didn't want to be rude and interrupt the flow of the conversation. But it was one of those moments of like, if I see you again, do not approach me. If we are in the same class, do not ask me to help you with a project. Do not ask me to hang out with you outside of the walls of school, because I will not be your token to alleviate the guilt you have of your privilege that you still will not acknowledge that you have. You don't get to hashtag Black Lives Matter if you're not willing to stand with your black friend when they could possibly be in danger. You don't get to hashtag Black Lives Matter if you stay there for 5 minutes and then you go party afterward, because it's like, at the end of the day, they're still black and they still have to live with that fear. But you don't know that. And you probably don't want to learn that. And what baffles me even more is that I have a professor who I will not name drop just out of respect for my school, but the fact that he is co-signing that and
No,
saying,
no. You know what? Like, and if you're
Go
saying
ahead and drop his.
if you saying he's co-signing bigotry, we blacklisting everybody, like for real. So
no, but it's like, he was one of those like, I'm not racist. I made a film about a black child playing with a white child, and they eventually got married. And I was like, one
name.
film out of your.
I need name and social media for that. Go ahead.
I
We
was
can
like,
bump these people's jobs.
that was one film out of your whole entire career. You made one film where it was like that. Just because you make one film like that does not mean you have a reservation at the table.
Right. Like, okay, did you use that film for any good? Did you film what it was like for that black party of that marriage after they were married? Did you film what it was like for their white
No,
counterpart?
and the thing was, they show them as kids, and
Yeah.
then fast forward as adults, and
Right.
like everybody was just basically sucking up to him, like, "Oh, that was so inspiring." I'm like, y'all are lying. No, if you want to know a film that talks about the struggles of interracial relationships, watch Jungle Fever by Spike Lee, because literally you see both sides of it. You see how people on that side were hating on the Italian woman, and the Italian woman hating on the black guy. That's a real representation of what it is like to be in an interracial relationship, and people are not okay with it.
Yep.
So no, I don't think that was a great film that will. And his whole thing was just like, I want this film to erase racism. I was like, no, you're not going to erase racism with one film.
Can I say something to that real quick? I'll let you also catch your breath. Look here, my allies. Okay, I don't know how to describe it. We don't need to be protesting. We shouldn't even have to. Just keep it a beam for a second. And when I keep saying that, my protest is existing. My protest is preserving Black lives. My protest is uplifting my community. My protest can be literally from my bedroom, reading a Bible, praying for my Black community. I don't need and shouldn't have to be in these streets, mind you. Just because you out there using these BLM hashtags and you listening to our rap music and your white little brothers and sisters are dancing to our songs on TikTok, you're not down, yo. Like, this is, I need more than that, yo. I need donations for our movement. When I say the movement for the war, I need you to amplify Black voices. I don't need you speaking up for us.
Yep.
Like, and I love he's not on here tonight, but I love what Ben always says. It is not our responsibility to speak for our Black brothers and sisters, but because of our privilege and our platform, it is our duty to listen. Yes, thank you, Josh, is to listen and amplify. We need to get these voices out. So that's why Benny gives an extra scoop as well. Like, I keep
love Ben.
I kind of go with what I was saying about the celebrities.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And to go off, bounce off of that is, even though Jay-Z, he's never been like a social media person, but Jay-Z was the one that talked to the governor of Minnesota that said, nah, let the attorney general handle this. Like, he himself was like, nah, bro. After that video, nah, you gotta get the attorney general on that. I don't know what. We'll get into that later. When I say we'll get into that later, because that's an interesting subject. But keep going, Mel.
But it's like, and then going back to the whole, oh, you're not on social media speaking up about it, so you obviously don't care. It's like, first of all, I'm taking a break from social media so that way mentally I can function.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm no good to anyone, let alone myself, if I'm not good mentally. Just because I'm not talking about it on social media does not mean I don't care. I do things behind the scenes. I attend things behind the scenes. But the difference between I and other people is I don't need validation showing I care. So it's just like, I'm not willing to die for a couple of likes on Instagram. I am not willing to die for a retweet. I am content with going out there and it's like, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And I'm okay with it because I know that I died for a good cause. But it's like,
not even that, and kind of bounce off of that. All these Christians that are out here shook in your pews. Look here, man. Jesus died in his early 30s. You know why he died in his early 30s? He did everything he was supposed to do. So
But yeah, kind of what off Mel was saying. I really want to go. I mean, you saying like you are doing things like behind the scenes. You're not doing this for the clout. You're doing this because you genuinely, this is your movement. You know what I mean? Like, we've had a couple people trying to harp over here on Casper. We had a white girl ask Casper, "Where's your poster?"
Oh, whew.
And Casper goes, "My poster? My skin color? You mean the fact that I'm black in America? That is my damn poster." He didn't say damn. He didn't. But he goes, "That is my poster." Like, his literal existence is his protest. These white people are trying to get bold. There was one the other day at a Cecil protest that we were at that tried to correct me and him. A person of color and a black person. They were trying to correct us when we were trying to talk about slavery together and having a moment where I was trying to talk to him about a certain thing, and a white person tried to come up and correct us.
Yeah, and I can recall this one time at school where I don't even remember what the conversation was, but I just remember somebody saying, "Oh my gosh, why are you so Black Panther about this?" And I just looked at them and I was like, because unlike you, I am not okay with shucking and jiving for master, so that way I can hopefully maybe eat in the kitchen of where I am serving you. I am okay if you are uncomfortable. I am okay if you don't understand my struggle, but I would respect you more if you try to understand it. But the fact that you don't want to understand it is like, then I know what you are about. But again, do not ask me to ever work in the industry because I would rather struggle and try to do things morally correct as opposed to selling my soul for maybe a name drop. And I think that is the problem with going to an art school. It's like people just want to be this and this and this and this, but it's like you lose yourself morally and ethically. And it's like, I can't do that. I cannot keep trying to be so, I guess, vanilla so that way people are comfortable with what I'm talking about. And it's like this is an art school, so you say we're supposed to express ourselves, but at the same time you're saying I can't talk about this, so it's one or the other.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to turn in an essay the other day about what city do I want to live in after graduation, and I said Atlanta. And I was like, should I say what I want to say in this essay, or do I want to say what I think she wants to hear? So I said, I want to go to Atlanta because there is more representation of Black people, and it allows Black people to tell a story and offers more opportunities, as opposed to going to maybe somewhere like LA where the population of white people is through the roof, and maybe that person will get a minor role but no speaking lines.
It kind of reminds me of when Blackout Tuesday was the big trend of the week, and a lot of and I'm going to be honest, like I posted a Blackout Tuesday thing as well, but there were a lot of people that haven't been out in the streets, haven't been actively listening, actively participating in these movements, but they decide to post Blackout Tuesday thing for the clout or to make them feel better. And it's just, you can't do that. That's just wrong on so many levels.
One thing that I noticed when it came to actually that trend that was going on. Okay, so I don't know if anybody else heard about this during Blackout Tuesday. I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was June 2nd, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's
but okay, so Blackout Tuesday, you know, the point of Blackout Tuesday was not only are we not, you know, streaming like movies and music and YouTube, but we're also not supposed to buy from like marketplaces. And then one of the little things I asked, and one of my artists that I'm acquainted to, and I've actually interviewed on this podcast, he said, stop using the BLM hashtag for Blackout Tuesday because we can't see what's happening in the streets. Y'all are flooding the algorithms with this. So I was getting resistance, reaching out to other people. I was like, hey, it was mostly the allies. I was like, hey, remove the B. I was just going down my social media. I said, remove the BLM hashtag, put Blackout Tuesday or time to unplug, something else. It doesn't even need a hashtag. It's a black square.
Mm-hmm.
The point is we're not even supposed to be technically using social media, but because I'm an activist, I have to stay on top of the stuff like this. But I had some little, had a child of God. Had a child of God was just like, you're taking this too seriously. I'm like, I did it. I just blocked them. Like they've bought merch from me. They've come to my shows. I just blocked them because for me, it was like, I don't think you can take this too serious.
Exactly. And I've had to cut ties with a few people, you know, that I go to college with, and they're just trying to tell me that, well, these people are kind of overreacting and they shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be doing that. But it's like, how is it your place? Why or how is it your place to tell these people how they should be reacting? You're not the one facing injustice. You know, you should be actively listening. You should be part of the movement, but don't tell these people how their voices should be heard.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, brother.
I want to talk about Morgan Freeman, yo.
Oh my God. Go ahead.
I want to know how much he got paid.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know everything because there's no way in HE hockey sticks that he haven't went through anything, especially by him being and looking old for the last 200 years. There's no way that man going to sit up there and say there ain't no racism and all that. I really wish that him and what's her name, Jane Elliott, can sit down so she can just expose him, you know? Because I think you have a lot of white people that's going against the Black Lives Matter movement is cheering on just because a black man said that, and it's not, and then they get even more blind to what's happening when a Uncle Ruckus comes out and says something like that, you know.
Let's talk about that for a second, actually, and not just the subject of Morgan Freeman, because this is probably, when I say this is my biggest reservation, is the fact that, you know, if like, I just think how narcissistic and dangerous it is to use a black face to push the white supremacy agenda so it can affirm the bias of this war. And it literally makes me mad enough that I want to fight somebody. Because, and I'm just keeping it a being with y'all, like I've had people, like I've kirked out on them. Like they like, didn't you hear what Candace Owens said? I don't give, I you know, they gonna have to kill me, grandmama. I'm not their slave. Like that's just where I'm at right now. Like I was very disappointed when I saw that with Morgan Freeman, but I was even more overjoyed when Stevie freaking Wonder, who doesn't even have eyesight.
Yes.
Like, I have more vision than your 2020.
Mm-hmm.
This is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just think that's so, one, disrespectful, narcissistic, insensitive. And just because it's a black face, don't make it's not racism. And don't mean they're not enforcing white supremacy. Go ahead, brother Trey.
If you ask me, it really comes down to what they are worshiping. When you speak, when evil is being spoke upon, like people talking about evil, and you come and say, "Oh, there's no evil because it never happened to me," then you have to be worshiping what you're receiving, and that's money. You see, he narrates shows as talking about different religions and different gods, and actually acting like a god. And all these TV shows and networks want to use him to narrate. I 100% believe that's what he's worshiping, that what he's putting first, because there's no way in hell that that man that's been living for 200 years have never experienced being
You
prejudiced
talk about Morgan
or
Freeman
or
before or
racism.
after the dots.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think he always had them. I think, sometimes if you don't wash his face, they just right there or something like that. But for that man to worship that money that bad to where you give up your own people, I think it's sad. I think it's real sad, and I'm a pray for him because it's evil. Little Wayne too. I want to roundhouse him. I want to feed him vegetables so he can be unhigh or something, like, you know that.
I just think
Yeah.
I just, like I said, I keep going back to how like insensitive that is, yo. Like it's like for me, especially like if it's somebody I care about and I consider family, and they try to send me a freaking Candace Owens video, or the what are them Uncle Tom and Timmy, the twins, the black twins, yo, they piss me off, yo.
I've seen those going around. Yeah, it's
I
I can't stand these dudes, yo. I used to like them so much until. Oh man, go ahead. I'm sorry, bro.
but like for me, like it's just I gotta be careful because I actually get like pretty emotional with it when it comes to this. Like I actually like tears actually come up. But like for me, it's just like it's no different than like if somebody's getting like mugged and you're like just walk by and you'll be like, you already you saw it happen. You saw how it initiated. And the fact that you start talking about this guy's past and everything besides that, besides the fact that he was brutalized and victimized, like it literally makes me sick. Like I lost when I didn't really have much respect for Candace Owens, but I lost every little respect. For me, anybody that's even on that ride, yo. The minute you start talking to me about what was in George Floyd's system, yo, that had nothing to do with him getting killed, yo. Like that's why like when I've been getting like my medium rare chicken rants, yo, it's just like, yo, take your cross off. When it comes to me, especially with Christians, if the first thing you mention is, well, he had fentanyl in the system and he had a record of, was that why the police were called?
did he deserve to die? I don't
Nobody.
think so.
First off, Christians need to take that mouth off their subject. And when I say that, first off, that's above my pay grade. I don't get to decide who deserves to live and who deserves to die. I have to say Black Lives Matter because in my whole life I felt like it hasn't. But ain't up to me. It ain't up to me. The textbook I read in my moral compass and my beliefs, I have that's sacrilegious to even say who deserves to die. I don't care if they were wrong or right. That ain't up to me. But that wasn't a reason that them cops was called. Don't tell me about this man's rap sheet because nah, yo, it just like that's the devil's lips. Like when you be speaking that, yo, that and me and Trey talked about this weekend. So just go ahead, Trey. It's all right, brother. Go all right. You need to get this off.
It really boggles my mind, yo. And remember the screenshots that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back and forth with these white people that claim that they are Christians, especially that dude that you looked up, that races over there in London, and he
I'm
got a
still doing
scripture
some
on his bio.
I'm still doing some digging. I gotta make sure I shine my nails before I put them in the coffin. But we looking into it.
That's what's up. I appreciate it. For these people to be in my inbox to continue, and they really have in their mind that all this stuff is going on because of Democrats. I had to say, honey, white supremacy go in both parties. It's not about a party thing. It's the evil thing. And if for you to sit up there and claim that you Christian, you should be able to see. But you're blind yourself because you're supporting the movement when you don't speak up on it. It's sad that I literally had to argue and argue and argue, and you want to tell me that I'm blind and stuff? Go ahead. Hold
Well,
up. You supposed to say that.
I know that, but can we just, and this is Josh, I don't know your spiritual beliefs. Mel, I do know yours.
Yeah, so I was raised Catholic, and
I'm sorry.
yeah, I know, but
So
Same.
was she, actually.
I
I've been
was.
involved
But
with it for a
You
while.
ride into that Halo music then.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
let
always
me
felt
stop.
like I was at someone's funeral. It just felt so depressing.
But the reason I bring that up is because I don't care what translation of Bible you read, God was not a Republican or a Democrat.
Preach, brother.
That's it.
Speak up on it.
Like, because both parties is trash. They both
Mhm.
contradict with my faith or moral compass in some way. So I can't fully subscribe to either one of them. I can only submit to the gospel. That's it. But for a Christian to literally sit there and tell me Democrats are the problem with this country, no.
everybody. That's the problem with the two-party system in America, you know. And I'm a hardcore Democrat myself, but I still see problems within the party itself, and just the amount of representation for the Black community within the party, and it's problematic. And it's not all conservatives are racist, not all Democrats are racist, but the system is, and it's a problem. The two-party system just does not work for the people.
That's
And
why I'm independent.
mhm. I was going to be independent, but after 2016, I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
This is more so of being on the side of being, I like to joke and say, like government property. And then being on the side of
Can I kind of give you a backstory on Mel real quick? So Mel was in the military for 3 years, I think it was. So she was in the military for 3 years.
Thank you for your service.
For people that don't know, you know, when you into the military, and I'm actually working on releasing this episode right now after I'm finishing up the one that me and Trey shot with my little sister and Marie. But one of the subjects we talked about, Josh, is but people don't know when they sign up for these things, when they sign up for the military, that they sign away 90% of their rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
like,
half the time they can't even tell you what their political party is, let
yeah.
alone your thoughts on the system that you are property of. But go ahead, Mel. I just wanted to say that because, you know, give Josh a little preface and everything like that.
Yeah, because usually when I say I was government property, they're like, "What?" So it makes sense if you were in, but so yeah, being on that side and then being a civilian again, it's like it's a little like I don't know how to describe it, because it was like when I was in, it was like I can't ever talk about like political movement like Black Lives Matter. I can't say I don't like Trump because he's a terrible president, because they're like, well, that's your boss. So, you know, in the event that like he might get assassinated, you better take a bullet for him. And I'm like, but would he take a bullet for me though? Like, riddle me that. So, but yeah, like and then being on the side of being a civilian again, when I do say things about the military, and then I always have that one person that's like, you're being disrespectful. There's a lot of people who lost their lives. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were there with me that day swearing in. I don't recall seeing you sign your name at the bottom of that contract. I'm sorry. But it was just like, I lived that life. I gave up my rights to speak so you can speak as well. Mm-hmm. So always think about that when you want to judge someone who is a veteran and wants to tell their side of the story that they're being disrespectful. I'm like, you didn't have to give up your rights to speak. I did. So humble yourself before you come at me like that.